Okay, so we'd be lying if we said there weren't similarities between Nioh and Dark Souls, but focusing on these similarities ignores the ways in which Nioh is awesome in its own right. So we've put together a quick list to show you why Nioh is much more than just a Dark Souls clone. Stamina management in Dark Souls can be the difference between life and death. Knowing when to roll, when to shield, and when to simply back off are essentials to making sure you're not caught off guard. In Nioh, the same is true, but the punishment for using up all of your stamina, known here as ki, is much more severe. In Nioh, when lead protagonist William runs out, he is completely frozen on the spot, unable to move until a section of the bar has recharged. Now sure, not being able to move may sound a bit extreme, but skilled players can avoid this situation by using a technique called the ki pulse. By hitting R1 at the correct time, William can reclaim large chunks of stamina directly after attacks, preventing his bar from fully depleting. Also, unlike Dark Souls, you're able to see your opponent's stamina, meaning you can wait for them to run out of steam, then attack with everything you've got, pulling off some brutal visceral attacks. Nioh features spirit animals, spiritual creatures that can not only aid you in battle, but also come with their own subsection of stat boosts that can help William gain an edge against his enemies. Similar to Ryu's Ninpo from the Ninja Gaiden series, when fully charged, William's spirit animal can unleash devastating attacks even against high-level bosses. While the attack style, the element, and frankly how cute the animals are seem important, it's equally important to look at the stat boosts each animal will provide. That way you can make sure you've picked the right little mystical buddy to join you on your adventure. Every weapon in Dark Souls carries a varied moveset, but the depth of combat in Nioh is taken a step further, or you could say a stance further. Each weapon comes with 3 different attack stances, low, mid, and high, with low being the quickest, weakest attacks, and high being the strongest. This mechanic really comes into play when facing off against other samurai. For example, an enemy with a high-raised sword will deliver slow, powerful attacks that will put a huge strain on their stamina. Countering with a low stance or a light weapon will ensure you're one step, one slice, and one brutal execution ahead of your enemy. And this only scratches the surface of the complexity in Nioh's combat. The skill menu allows you to unlock different attacks for different weapons, giving us the same feeling of combat customization that we've seen before in the Ninja Gaiden series. Now, compared to the interconnected world of Dark Souls, Nioh takes a much more old-school approach. Instead of unlocking locations in-game as you progress through the map, missions are selected from a menu. Now, while loading up individual missions feels very similar to warping to a bonfire, it allows Nioh to introduce Twilight missions, a mode which is unlocked after defeating a level's boss. This allows you to repeat the same mission, but with much harder difficulty, offering greater rewards as an incentive. In the Dark Souls series, players have always been able to create their own characters with an impressive level of customization, sometimes for the worst. However, in Nioh you play as a specific character who's crucial to the narrative. He's based on William Adams, an English navigator who reached Japan in 1589 and went on to become the first ever Western samurai. The authenticity of the character is important as throughout the game, William encounters numerous historical figures from this period. In Dark Souls, it's possible for a player to be invaded by either an NPC or another player. Invaders are typically cast in a reddish glow and enter the host world ready for a fight. Nioh has a similar mechanic. The spirits of other players are able to enter William's world, but they don't invade, they're invited. These spirits are called revenants. By hovering over the glowing red grave of a fallen revenant, you're able to see what equipment they possessed when they died. So if you want a shiny new sword, and the level 18 revenant died with a shiny sword, it's a good idea to summon them into your world, beat them, and hope they drop their weapon as a reward. While there's many intricate differences between Nioh and Dark Souls, one of the biggest is also the most basic: speed. While it is possible in Dark Souls to use light armor and fast weapons to maximize your character's speed, Nioh's fast-paced movement and combat is on another level entirely, overall creating an incredibly fast-paced combat system that can be tough to learn, but rewarding to master. For all the latest coverage on Nioh and Dark Souls, stay tuned right here to IGN.